Oh boy, folks, welcome to our channel. This is a big one. This is the big one, Ethel, but this really is the big one. Welcome to the smartest, most active, one of the largest and the coolest audiences in the world. Welcome once again to our channel. What you're going to hear and see will shock you. Puerto Rico files for bankruptcy. The first O-Care state to collapse. That's correct. They were forced to have O-Care. We can't say that word. They'll ban us from the internet. Moments ago, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico filed for quasi-bankruptcy protection by the U.S. courts, which are merely administrators, over its $70 billion in debt created by both the mandatory health care costs and the mandatory welfare. $70 billion in debt. Jane, is that about one day of bombing in Syria? Oh, we got to start this all over again. Okay, we'll just keep going. Puerto Rico, however, is not an incorporated territory like the Philippines or Detroit or Washington State Secretary of... You see, the Philippines is a sole corporation, as is the Washington Secretary of State's office, as are most corporations within the states. Puerto Rico, nobody was smart enough to incorporate. It's part of the United States corporation. Puerto Rico uses the U.S. dollar as the base, and its president is appointed by the United States corporate president. When Detroit filed for bankruptcy protection, the courts just let it ride because it's a private corporation, governed by laws set forth in the state of Michigan Corporation. It's the Michigan Department of Treasury that oversees the Corporation of Detroit. It's called the Corporation of the City of Detroit. It's an incorporated city. It's not an LLC, it's a full corporation. It's the corporation of the city. When Puerto Rico files for bankruptcy, it files as part of the United States corporation. However, under executive... See if we can have that. I'm not sure we have this. Under Executive Order 12803, the United States is completely privatized and may in fact have only a few employees. Everything else is a private corporation. But Puerto Rico is managed by the CEO, which is now President Trump. Commonwealth territory or not, Puerto Rico bonds are issued from the United States. You think, how could anybody be so stupid after you told them about this not to incorporate Puerto Rico? Well, President Trump, we asked you to do certain things. This is the people of Puerto Rico, issued 1 January 1974. It's a U.S. Treasury bond. This is the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico Public Improvement Bond, issued in 1974. It is from the United States of America. Clear as a bell. You know how much this $1,000 bond is selling for? It's selling for $49.95. You saved 29%. This $1,000 United States of America bond is selling for $49.95. Unbelievable. It's not a duplicate, it's the real deal, folks. This is it. The people of Puerto Rico, Series A, Isabella, an irrigation bond. It is a United States bond signed by the United States Department of Treasury. Puerto Rico is unincorporated. It's not legally allowed to issue a bond. You can go to the U.S. State Department and find out. When we told, and they thought, Mr. Ambassador, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. When we told the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank, the U.S. Treasury, and Deutsche Bank they were about to lose trillions, that was not meant as a joke. And I'm sure their CEOs will be forgiven by their owners for overlooking what we just sent them. We have been saying this for 10 years. We posted it on their Facebook pages over the last 2 days. And they think, you don't know what you're talking about. Puerto Rico just filed for bankruptcy and their bonds are selling for $1,000 bond sells for $49. How much are your investors going to lose because you overlooked what we've been asking you to do for a decade? Heads will roll. We even reminded them over and over again. Arrogantly ignorant. The U.S. presidential appointed governor of Puerto Rico is currently petitioning the Federal Oversight Board He's petitioning. He's asking them. He's saying, please, they don't have to do this, the Federal Oversight Board, to invoke the quasi-bankruptcy, the fake law that puts a standoff before a judge. This is fake. They're not incorporated. They can't ask for this. Only President Trump can ask for this. And when he asks for it, he has to ask for it for the entire United States Treasury. This is a prelude to what's coming, we think. In other words, the U.S. Treasury notes used to support the democratically controlled National Socialist, the Nazi state of Puerto Rico, are not going to be paid back. You own a Puerto Rican bond, $1,000 for $1,000 on eBay. Well, I'm not sure where that sales site was. Just go here and you'll find out where the sales site is. For the loss of a horseshoe nail, the kingdom was lost. For the loss of the nail, the shoe was lost. For the loss of the shoe, the horse was lost. For the loss of the horse, the king was lost. For the loss of the kingdom was lost. All for the loss of a horseshoe nail. By 1 June, their investors will not have a pot to pee in. By 1 November, they will not have any pee to put in the pot. Few stories flatten me, but oh boy, this one. The collapse of the U.S. Treasury notes going for $49 for a $1,000 bond. Oh boy, you know, that's pretty serious. I'm not sure what this sophistical scriptophilid.com, the gift of history, where a $1,000 Puerto Rican U.S. Treasury bond is being sold for $49.95. 29% savings. Oh boy. Unbelievable. It literally trumps every other story of the year so far. This is the biggest story. All the Serco fake stories about having a conflict in the Middle East and in China, all put out by Serco, funded by the GSA and put out through the Federal Bridge Certification Authority, or in Trustco, funded by your taxpayers' dollars. A $1,000 bond sold for $49.95. A U.S. issued bond. Oh boy. Folks, we've done everything we can to prepare us for this. In another incredible news story, independent journalists now faces 70 years in prison after inauguration mass arrest. They arrested 240 people for creating riots in the streets of Washington, D.C., and now they're being sentenced. There's a whole lot of reporters in there who initiated these riots so they could get pictures. Well, the first one's been sentenced, and he's been sentenced to 70 years in prison. 240 of them. A whole bunch of reporters are now being sentenced to prison. Trump, Trump. We have been warning America about what's coming for a long time because we love our audience. You guys are the coolest, the best audience we've ever met. And we love a lot of you guys. We don't want any one of you hurt. We even twisted Dave's arm at Food for Liberty to get 10% off when you use the promo code MOUNT. He agreed 3 or 4 weeks ago, and now you can save money on food. We even have a cooking channel, William Mount Cooking, to show you how to buy food, how to prepare food inexpensively for what's coming. When we see, unbelievable, when we see a $1,000 US dollar bond selling for $49.95, and now that's not even worth the pot to pee in. It's not even worth $49.95. If you took that to your bank, they wouldn't cash it. They would not cash that bond. It's a bearer bond. Whoever has it can cash it. They wouldn't cash it because they're in bankruptcy proceedings now, or fake bankruptcy proceedings. Folks, please pray that your family is protected for what's coming. Food, water, toilet paper, ammunition, heat, and communications. And get the good toilet paper, the 4.5-inch wide toilet paper, not the cheap 4-inch stuff you get at the local grocery store. It lasts longer. There's nowhere you can go with the story. There's nothing in the news that trumps the fact that the U.S. bonds are now filing for quasi-bankruptcy proceedings. U.S. Treasury notes and bonds, which means the Federal Reserve bond, the dollar you carry in your pocket, the Federal Reserve note, the Federal Reserve bank note, That's also $49.95 for $1,000 worth. That's also worthless overseas because of these quasi-bankruptcy proceedings. Because again, Puerto Rico, we talked about this, how long was it, Jane? 6 months ago?
Yes.
They could have incorporated, but they did not. The last president was, well, number 4 was not in tune with what was going on. Anyway, we want to thank you for your time. Unbelievable events going on. We talked about this 7 May 2016. We talked about this a year ago, how these are U.S. Treasury notes. Remember when Ted Cruz resigned and he smacked his wife and hit her with the elbow because she allowed this to go into bankruptcy proceedings? Well, here it is. It's in full swing. Thank you very much for watching. God bless to each and every one of you, and pray that your family is ready for what's coming. And pray that we have a soft landing, not a hard landing. Thank you for coming. God bless, and good night.